Good morning, good day, good afternoon. Welcome to my live market meeting, 21st May 2020. Could you let me know if you can hear me and see my screen? You may use the YouTube live chat panel to let me know. Thank you. Let's continue. I am Sagar Nandi. I used to work in information technology, mostly based in Singapore. I have retired now, living in Thailand, swing trading stocks using the queue systems and techniques that I developed. You may watch these and other trading videos on my YouTube channel Trading Profitably and contact me using the email ID tradingprofitably@gmail.com. I regularly share stock and market analysis using live systems on my traders forum sagarnandi.com and also on my Twitter page sagarnandi. All these resources are open to the public and you are most welcome to make use of them. Disclaimer: this demonstration is for educational purposes only. It is designed to share information on the trading systems and techniques I use. The information presented here should only be used by people who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. Past performance is no guarantee of future return. I am not an investment advisor. This session is not for any recommendation of buying or selling stock or any other instrument. I will have no liability for any investment decision made by the audience. This is a live market analysis. I will use technical trading systems Q Global and Q Elite, and for fundamental and peer analysis I will use Q Vital, for sector industry rotation analysis Q Edge, and for market and index analysis Q Index. I may also use Q Finder to see how the balance of bullish and bearish signals are changing over several days. All these systems can be used in full real-time mode. That was the last slide of my presentation. Let me continue with the live system. Let's first look at a few global markets as usual. This is Australian index AXJO. In the last live market roundup, I showed that it was moving inside a narrow range. That is still true. It is so narrow that we may not try to take a short trade at the upper end of the range where it is now. We may not take a short trade because the memory trendline support is nearby. And it is certainly not a time to take any long trade because today's candle is bearish in shape and it also displayed the bear release signal. Let's look at the Hong Kong market Hang Seng Index. The same is true. It is also moving inside a narrow range, too narrow to try to take a short trade from the upper edge. In the weekly also there is a memory resistance line showing it is not a time to take long trades. The good thing about Q Global is that we can analyze not only the USA market but global markets, not only market indices but individual stocks, and therefore we may trade not only in the USA market but also in our respective local markets. Here is Hang Seng Index, HSI. No, sorry, we completed Hang Seng Index. This is India's Nifty Index. In the daily, it is starting to go down with lower high and lower low. The weekly candle color is still bullish, cyan, and the shape is also bullish. There is no trade right now. Weekly is bullish, daily is coming down. We may wait for weekly and daily to be aligned. The other possibility is that if price can go up to this memory resistance line, and tilts down from there. If the Nifty index does that, then you may drill down into underlying stocks and look for shorting opportunity there. The UK market FTSE index, this is also moving inside a narrow range. There was a bearish headwind at this level. If price comes to that level, there is a likelihood it will drop from there. Because it is inside a narrow range, there is no trading opportunity right now. If it reverses from the upper end of the range, then you may drill down into underlying stocks and look for shorting opportunities. None of the global indices gave any buying opportunity. What about the USA market? USA market is also moving inside a range bound fashion, and that sideways move is being picked up by QFinder. In a Twitter post, I shared successive days QFinder chart. This was the chart that was from last Friday. Last Friday, 15th May. At that time, the trend continuation signals drawn here, they started to become more bullish. The green bars started to become bigger than the red bars, and the trend reversal signals also started to become more bullish. The green bars were becoming bigger than the red bars, both for trend continuation signals and trend reversal signals. That was on last Friday. Then what happened on Monday? It turned clearly bullish. The trend continuation green bars were much larger compared to the red bars, and trend reversal bars were relatively smaller. On Monday, it became very bullish. What happened on Tuesday? This is the result from Tuesday. Now we see the bearish signals are much more, both for the trend continuation side and reversal side. And yesterday, it turned bullish again. The trend continuation signals were much bigger. The green bars were much bigger. What we can see from these successive days QFinder signals is that Friday market started to strengthen. Monday it continued, became very strong. Tuesday it became bearish. Wednesday it became bullish, and today is Thursday. If that up down move continues, then probably today we'll see bearish pattern. Though the day is not over yet, let me run the long and short explorers, the combo explorers, QFinder long and QFinder short, that tries to identify all the bullish and bearish signals, and I'm going to run it on a large list of stocks to make the graph meaningful. This list has more than 1500 liquid stocks. Let the explorer run and I may continue with the market level analysis. Now I am using Q Elite on TradeStation. SPY is also moving inside a range. I mentioned in earlier videos that even if price breaks out to the upside, I may not take long trades at that point. I am not a big fan of breakout trades. Instead, I would wait for it to pull back and go up again to give me a low risk trend following long setup. That would be a wise decision because price is continuing to move sideways in a very narrow range. If you see the last couple of days, moving in a very narrow range. Today it is down a little bit. The traffic light candle color in the daily chart is still bullish. QQQ. This was the strongest of the 4 market ETFs, and that is continuing. It is in an uptrend. The only one of the 4 market ETFs that is still in an uptrend. From weekly, we can see it is very strong. However, there is a bearish headwind signal appearing today. We don't know if it will be there at the end of the day, but it has started appearing. There was a bearish headwind few days earlier. If today price can close below this watermark resistance, then it will create a false upside breakout. That may be a reason to be cautious. However, there are several memory support lines. QQQ may not be able to drop below all of them sharply, quickly. We may put a stop just below the memory support lines if we are holding long position in QQQ. DIA, this is also moving inside a narrow range. This picture is very similar to SPY. It is not a time to take a long trade in DIA. IWM, the same thing is happening again. What we saw for the global markets, we can see the same thing is true for the USA market also. None of the USA market ETFs are allowing us to take a long trade. They are all moving inside a range, and when that happens, many stocks are also moving inside a range. That is not the best time to take directional swing trades. The Explorer is still running. Let me go through some of the trading ideas that were shared in the Traders Forum. This is my Traders Forum, sagarnandy.com. Here I share live trading ideas under the category Sagar Nandi's Trade Ideas, and other Q traders shared their analysis under the category Q Traders Stock Picks. One thing I wanted to point out, if you have registered and logged into the system, once you log in, it will show you if there is any new post under a category. I have logged in here using my ID, and today intentionally I didn't open the post submitted in QTrader Stock Pick to show that new posts are shown by a number. You can see there is no number beside Sagarnath's trade idea, so I have no new post in that category, but I have 3 new forum posts that I have not read yet. That will alert me, so I can look into the posts, and when I look into the category, you can see the unread posts are highlighted. The earlier posts I have read already. They don't have this dot at the corner. Let's look at some of them. Let's start with DRQ. I haven't looked at it earlier. I'm going to look at it along with you. It was submitted by Wadi. He's from Germany. From Q Edge, real-time sector industry analysis tool, he saw that energy is strong. He posted this yesterday. Energy sector was strong. Personally, I don't look at sector while making trading decisions, except when I am doing pure top-down analysis, starting from sector, then going to industries, then to stocks. However, as I tend to say, starting from the sector level may lead us to miss many trading opportunities. I prefer to start top-down analysis from the industry level. In any case, this is also useful information that what they shared. Energy sector was very strong. Then he looked at this stock DRQ. It had high earnings growth. Valuation is not good, however, that still allows us to take a long trade if the earnings growth is strong, which was true in this case. When he shared it, 32 stocks were up in the peer group and 3 stocks were down, showing that the industry was also very strong. And he attached the industry scorecard also. The industry was one of the strongest. 20th May, yesterday. Then he looked at the chart, and there are several things to like in this chart. In the weekly, it displayed a bullish headwind signal. The backdrop color was bullish, cyan, and the shape was also bullish. In the daily, it hit the watermark support level and then started to go up. One could probably take the long trade when the bull release signal came 2 days before Wadi shared it. That would be the preferred time to take the long trade. I would have taken the long trade on the day the bull release signal appeared. Wadi shared it yesterday, price didn't go up much. That could still be a valid entry point. The stop would be just below the watermark support level. That is how it was analyzed yesterday. We wouldn't know what would happen today. Let's look at the stock today. DRQ. The stock is down today. It's down by 2.5%. The stop would be below the watermark level, therefore stop is also not hit. If somebody took the trade yesterday, he would still be in the trade. That was DRQ. Let's look at another post that what is shared. That was on HAE. The valuation was optimal, undervalued stock shown by cyan color score, and it also had a positive earnings growth. In fact, consistently positive earnings growth in the last 3 quarters as well as last 3 years. This is also a buying candidate in terms of fundamentals. The industry was going up yesterday. This industry, healthcare supplies, went up by 2.6%. The weekly shows that backdrop color was cyan. The shape was also bullish. Daily had a cyan color candle. However, in this case, I wouldn't buy it yesterday. It is moving inside a range. When a stock is moving inside a range, the appropriate trade setup to be applied is box trade setup. That box trade setup could be applied somewhat when the bull release signal came. But when the cyan color candle came, we couldn't apply the trend following trade setup. Why? Because trend following trade setup with flow is applicable only in a trending market, and this stock is not in an uptrend. If somebody entered the long position when the bull release signal came here, thinking that it was moving inside a range and then starting to go up from the lower end of the range, that could be a valid box setup trade. And by yesterday, one could probably book some profit. Yesterday would be too late to enter the trade using Q technique. That would be my reading on the chart. What happens after that, after the analysis, we wouldn't know. We can check out, but that would not influence our decision. HAE. It's taking a while to load the data. Let me try to open it from MetaStock. HAE using Q Global on MetaStock. Today it is down slightly. As I explained on the forum posts chart, the ideal time to buy would have been this day, not after several days after the bull release signal came. Let's go back to the forum. Now you can see that the number of unread topics in this category, it has reduced by 2 because I already looked at 2 topics. I'm not going to read the last topic. Instead, let's look at the result of the explorer. I'm going to transfer the data to QFinder. First getting the long data, bullish signals into the long tab. Then I'm going to get the bearish signals to the short tab and look at the overall graph. In the beginning of today's session, I showed that QFinder was showing up-down move. Friday started to be bullish, Monday was bullish, Tuesday bearish, Wednesday bullish, and today, if that up-down continued, would be bearish. And so far, at least, that is true. If we look at the trend continuation signals, it is more red than green. And because yesterday was bullish day, we would expect that the trend reversal signals would also be more bearish. That is indeed true. Many stocks are touching memory trendline resistance and going down. Large number of stocks also displayed bearish headwind signal, and they are forming reversal candle. That is showing bearishness. Are we going to take short trades? We may look for shorting candidates. However, keep in mind that the market is moving up down way. If we look for shorting candidates from this version of QFinder that I am using, I am able to read the number of signals coming under each category. If I am thinking of focusing on the signals, the touch signals, the stocks that are touching memory resistance, I may focus on them and I can see there are 148 stocks that are touching memory resistance. Out of them, 10 are also bouncing down. Let's look at them. The 10 stocks that are bouncing down from memory resistance. Let's look at their fundamentals first. I'm going to click the peer analysis button. It's connecting with Refinitiv to get raw data and calculate their vital statistics. My aim is to look for weak fundamental stocks. Let's see if I have any star shorting candidate. That is where the valuation is overvalued and earnings growth in the last quarter is also negative. I found one stock. Now is the time to look at its industry or technicals. If I want to look at industry, I can click the cog icon. If I want to look at the chart, I can click the chart icon. Let's look at the industry. The industry is one of the weakest today, integrated oil and gas. Before looking at the chart, I'm going to close existing Metastock charts. Make sure my cursor is on the chart application within Metastock. Can close this. Let's go back to QVital and look at the chart of the stock. This is indeed bouncing down from memory resistance. There was heavy activity yesterday, tried to go up but failing today and coming down. If you use real-time fine-tuned chart, then you could probably take a shot right near the beginning of the day today. I wouldn't probably short it at the close of today because price may close somewhere here, which is close to the memory support line. If I use fine-tuned real-time chart, I could probably take a short trade in the morning session. Close that chart. Let's look at the other stocks. Is there any shorting candidate? There is one, OFG, which is overvalued. This time let me look at its chart first. This is also bouncing down. It tried to go up yesterday with heavy activity, stopped right at the memory resistance and coming down from there. Here the memory support is some distance away. Therefore we could take a short trade in this stock, putting stop just above the memory resistance, and that would give us very respectable reward risk ratio. Before taking any short trade on this stock, OFG, we would like to check its industry. Let's check that by clicking the cog icon. And all of these analysis I'm doing, they are in full real time. There is no need to download data, no need to wait to sync it up with some data source. Everything is happening in real time. The industry for the stock is weakening. It's not one of the weakest industries today, but it is coming down from previous day. And if I look at the industry percentage, I can see the industry is down. Therefore, OFG could be considered as a short trade. Let's do a complete peer analysis of OFG before we pinpoint that. I'm going to use OFG as the peer stock and carry out a complete peer analysis. What I am looking for is to see what percentage of stocks in the peer group are up and down today. It is overvalued stock that allows us to short, and from this graph we can see that 67% stocks in the peer group, which has 61 stocks, are down today and 31% are up. Overall it is bearish, but not extremely bearish. When the industry is extremely bearish, we would have maybe 80-90% or even more stocks are down. Still, this allows us to short the stock. Why don't we look at the peer stocks and look for star shorting candidates in terms of fundamentals? I got a number of stocks, and let's open the stocks that are down, closing the old charts. I'm looking at stocks that are down by about 1% or more. SIVB, I'm looking at the right edge. There is no Q trade setup. Going to close it. PNC, no Q trade setup. JP Morgan, this is also coming down from near the memory resistance. However, the traffic light candle color is green. Therefore, I am not going to short it. Close JPM. Same is true, coming down from near memory resistance, but traffic light candle color is still green. BXS, no Q trade setup here. We didn't find any trade there. Let's look at OFG again. Look at it using the weekly daily template. This may be taken as a bounce short trade. However, we didn't find many shorting candidates in the industry. That may make me pause and hesitate a little bit. When I find multiple trading candidates from the same industry, then I know it is a higher probability trade. OFG may end up being a profitable trade, but I didn't find any good looking shorting opportunity from the peer analysis. So I may not consider shorting this stock. Let's go back to QFinder, reset all the stocks. Now let me look at the stocks that went down most so far by at least 5%. And let me open all those charts. Instead of looking for fundamentals, this time after checking the technicals from Finder, I'm looking at the technicals using charts. Once all the charts are open, I'm going to quickly go through them. If I find a trade setup, I will stop. ESNT, no Q trade setup there. SSR mining, no trade setup at present. ARCT, it might give a bearish headwind trade setup, but I think the weekly will not meet the condition. Let me keep it. I'll come back to the stock. No trade setup in this one. NXPI. Let me go through all the stocks. If I find an interesting opportunity, I will stop. I didn't find any trade setup so far. Let's look at these stocks weekly and daily together. The at a glance template. The weekly is not bearish in shape, not neutral in color. Therefore, there is no trade setup here also. What did I do? I tried to find trades in different ways using QFinder. First, I looked at the stocks that are bouncing down from memory resistance, looked at their fundamentals, tried to find shorting opportunities. Didn't find any good shorting opportunity there. Then I looked at the stocks that went down most today so far and didn't find any good shorting candidate there also. That is what happens when the market direction is not clear. And that is also a design characteristics of Q systems. When you apply the 360 degrees approach, If you don't find a good trading candidate, that is a way of Q system saying that it's time to stand aside, not take any trade. If you take directional trades, long or short, it is more likely to be stopped out. Also, when I was browsing through the charts, I did it fast, but you might have noticed that many of the stocks are also inside a range bound by memory support and memory resistance. That is also normal when the market itself is inside a range. If I try to look for long opportunities, the same might be true. Instead of using Q Vital, let me now move to Q Edge. In every market, even in a sideways market, the undervalued stocks may give buying opportunities. Of course, they will be risky buying opportunities because the market itself is moving sideways, maybe coming down today. Still, the undervalued stocks is one of the most useful categories to find buying candidates, low priced stocks that are starting to go up. Let's refresh the stocks. I click the fully charged battery icon to refresh the best performing undervalued stocks list. I have this 10 best performing stocks. Let's look at their charts first. I know fundamentally they are strong because they are undervalued. That's why they came in that list. GPS gap, I'll not buy it until it can break out of these memory resistance lines. Skip that. GNW, Genworth Financial, right at memory resistance. I will not buy it now. Guess also inside a narrow range and at memory resistance. RCL, if this breaks out from the memory resistance, that may be a good buying candidate. This is a cruise ship company. Many people are bearish on this stock and their fundamentals are not good. The cash flow is not good. Still, if it gives us a breakout trade setup, that may be a low risk entry point in a beaten down stock. But not today. It is still below the memory resistance line. ZUMZ. If this can close above the memory resistance, then it may give a breakout trade setup. I'll come back to this stock again and look at it using weekly daily chart. Matrix service MTRX. I'll prefer not to take a breakout trade in MTRX. See the difference between ZUMZ and MTRX. Even if MTRX could break out of the memory resistance, why I wouldn't take it is because the stop would be far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Below the low of the candle that came 5 days ago. That is too far for my trading style. Whereas if I look at ZUMZ and it breaks out of the memory resistance, then I could put stop just below these few candles. I wouldn't have to put stop below the memory support. That may give me a low risk entry opportunity in ZUMC. I'll come back to ZUMC again. Let me close matrix surface. TVTY just below memory resistance. Bed Bath and Beyond. This is looking better. I'll come back to it and look at it using weekly daily. REI has an upper tail forming a saucer or bowl pattern, but no trade setup today. LB, L brands, no trade setup today. It had earnings today, gapped up after the earnings. Back to ZUMC. Let's look at ZUMC using the weekly daily at a glance chart. The weekly is bullish both in color and shape. If it breaks out of the memory resistance, it will give a breakout long trade setup. We know the fundamentals are good because it came in the list of undervalued stocks going up. Let's check its industry, ZUMC. The industry, apparel retail, is one of the strongest today. That allows us to buy the stock. Why don't we carry out a complete peer analysis using QVital? Again, everything I am doing is in 100% real time. I don't store any data on my computer. I focus on what the market is doing, what the stocks are doing, then trying to synchronize data with data sources. It retrieved 32 peer stocks, retrieved data about all the 32 stocks and carried out the peer analysis. And now the scorecard is here. Very strong stock in terms of fundamentals, undervalued stock with robust earnings growth. In the quarterly periods as well as the yearly periods, revenue growth is also positive. I mentioned earlier, when an industry is strong, large percentage of stocks in the peer group will be up, and this is a good example, 87%. Remember earlier when I was looking for shorting ideas, I found a stock, but not many stocks in its peer group were down, not such a high percentage. But here the industry is clearly strong. 87% of the stocks in the peer group, 32 stocks in the peer group, are up today. And this stock itself is up by more than 7%. So ZUMC may give a breakout long trade setup today if it can close above the memory resistance. There was another stock that I found, that was BBBY. Let's look at it using the at a glance template. The stock came down a lot earlier, then stabilized. The backdrop color changed to yellow, and for 4 weeks it has changed to cyan, bullish, gradually going up, and that is shown in the daily chart also. Interestingly, the unique and extremely useful bullish headwind signal could catch the very bottom of this stock, BBBY. After this very sharp down move, this bullish headwind could catch the very low. We might not take a long trade right at that time. The weekly might not be aligned. However, we would be alert and we could take a long trade at this point using the go with flow long trade setup. Today it is giving another go with flow long trade setup. Now if you look back, you could take the trade on this day, because Q traders have all the real-time systems. They would run the scans every day and they would take the trade on this day instead of trying to take it today. Today may also give a low risk buying opportunity. Let's check its industry, BBBY. We can come back to QH and check its industry using the cog icon. Home furnishing retail. This is also one of the strongest. Let's carry out a full peer analysis of the stock using QVital. Retrieving the data. 8 peer stocks. Now retrieving data about the 8 peers, 8 stocks, and then it will calculate the QVital fundamental scorecard. Give it a few seconds. Here we can see it is an undervalued stock, but the earnings growth is negative. Also, the number of stocks up in this peer group is 62%, not as good as ZUMC. What is our final conclusion? If we wanted to buy an undervalued stock today or buy any stock today, ZUMC would be the candidate today if it can close above the memory resistance line. That is what you may observe every day. Whether the market is sideways or going up, the best performing undervalued stocks will tend to give you a very low risk buying candidate in a fundamentally strong stock. You may or may not find it from high growth stocks. When the market is moving sideways or coming down, the high growth stocks may come down fast. You may check this category also. Sometimes they give very nice buying candidates. However, what I have observed that even in a sideways market, you may find good buying opportunities from the best performing undervalued stocks like we found today, ZUMC. Let's look at the market using the real-time charts. You can see from here that out of the 4 market ETFs, IWM is the only one positive, barely positive. Most down is QQQ, Nasdaq. And I have put the FANG stocks here, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix. You can see that other than Facebook, which is up by almost 2%, all the other FANG stocks are down. Netflix is down by more than 3%. Let's look at the down stocks. These stocks were leading the market up, and probably today QQQ is weakest because these very strong stocks are down today. Let's look at them and see whether we could consider buying them. Amazon, right at watermark resistance. It has not been able to cross the watermark resistance since third week of April, third week of April. Therefore, we are not going to consider buying. We will not consider shorting also because there is a memory support very near. Let's look at Google. Google is right at memory resistance inside a triangle pattern. The weekly is bullish in color. However, for 3 weeks, it's not able to go up much because it is inside a triangle pattern near a memory resistance. We are not going to consider buying it. We will not short it also because weekly is strong and daily is also not giving any trade setup. Memory supports are nearby. Apple weekly has gone up for many weeks. Daily is at multiple memory trendline resistance. And today there is a bearish headwind signal so far. If we had a long position, we would apply trailing stop. We wouldn't short it because there is a memory support line. This memory supports and the triangle formation helps Q traders keep him or her safe from trading when support resistance are nearby. This is telling that if you are having long position in Apple, you may apply trailing stop, but no need to worry too much because memory support is there. Not going to long it now, not going to short it. Let's look at Netflix. Netflix is little different. Netflix displayed a bearish headwind signal and also bear release signal. Tried to go above the watermark resistance and sharply tilting down this week, creating a false upside breakout. in the daily tried to go above the watermark resistance, reversed. Today it opened at the memory support and going down from there. 2 days ago it had the bearish shape candle, however we wouldn't short because memory support was nearby. Yesterday it had a bearish shape candle, though the market was up. Still we wouldn't short it because the memory support was nearby. We would be ready to short the stock today, and using fine-tuned chart you could probably take a low risk short trade today morning. Let's look at the fine-tuned chart. This is the chart that we use for precision entry of swing trading or for day trading. We look to take a short trade, only short trade based on what we saw on weekly, daily at a glance chart. Today, after market open, the early range high and low levels form. In the morning session, I would use 5-minute chart. At this point, it decisively broke below the early range low. That was the point to short the stock with stop just above early range high. And then it dropped enough to cover more than the risk distance. This was the risk distance and it covered more than that distance. Therefore, a day trader would book profit, at least partial profit, and may apply a trailing stop to try to let profit run. If the stock ends lower, the weekly daily is looking weak, one may continue to hold the overnight position. As a day trade, it has already given profit. Before considering to hold the stock overnight, QTrader should check its fundamentals. Let's look at its fundamentals and also industry strength. Checking the fundamentals with QVital. While it is doing that, okay, let me type the symbol again. NFLX.O. Last time it said stock not found. I might have typed it wrongly. Netflix in movies and entertainment industry. Let's check the industry while it is retrieving the fundamental scorecard. The industry is one of the weakest today. Instantly we can see from the color coding. The industry scorecard allows us to short the stock. Technically, it gave us a breakout short candidate. We could take the short trade in the morning session itself. Let's look at its fundamentals. We could check it out from QVital. QVital is now a little bit slow, maybe because I am running the webinar in parallel. We could also check out the stock score from the QH itself. Netflix is a well-known stock. It is also included in QH. And here you can see instantly it is overvalued stock. Has strong earnings growth, however overvalued stock. Q technique allows us to short if at least one of the two criteria, valuation and earnings growth, at least one of them should be weak. In this case, valuation is overvalued, therefore we are allowed to short it. QVital has retrieved the scorecard. Same data, valuation shows it is overvalued, good earnings growth, and a large number of stocks in the industry group, in the peer group here, 75% of the stocks are down. Therefore, we could consider shorting Netflix. It is a very well-known stock. If you don't short it, at least if you are holding a long position, you may be cautious. That is how, whatever be the market condition, you can always find buying opportunities, shorting opportunities almost every day. However, even if you find a buying and or shorting candidate, you may try to align it with the market direction. That is probably the secret of trading success. If you align with the market direction and then, like we do in 360 degrees technique, buy only stocks in strong industry with strong fundamentals, short only stocks in weak industries with weak fundamentals, all aligned with the market direction. As I tend to say, it is difficult to lose money. Of course, the other part is risk management. If you do that, it's difficult to lose money in the market. It's almost 1 hour. Let me end today's session here. Thank you for attending. I look forward to seeing you again in my next session. Have a great week and trade profitably.